I'm Shahar, this is Spill the Beans, and today I have a very special guest. Jill Lublin, professional speaker, awesome person if you want to get connected and have publicity, and an author of several books, including this one, Get Noticed and Get Referrals. Really good to have you here.
Thank you, delighted to be here.
Talk to us a little bit about you.
Oh, well, it's funny, it's so great because I always get to help people with their message, and really for me, my message is that I'm a messenger of messengers. And I love that, and I help people by using publicity to drive more prospects, to get more business, to make more money, and to really get your message out, because publicity is one of the most powerful strategies to get your message out to the marketplace. So I've been doing that for 24 years.
Wow.
And teaching publicity crash courses, as live events, and as live webinars. I speak on the topics and really support people in the area of consulting to drive their business using publicity.
That's fantastic. And how did you get started in this?
Well, I started actually in the music business, which is funny because if you look at the music business, it's all about perception, right?
Yes.
And so I was working in independent record labels when they had records. And people who nobody ever heard of, we had no budgets. So I always like to joke that that's where I learned my first guerrilla publicity tools, like how to drive people to buy people's music and to create creative, unusual strategies to get people that no one ever heard of. In fact, one of our records went platinum because of guerrilla publicity strategies.
So you're telling me that today is still possible for small entrepreneurs to get publicity, get the visibility that they want without spending a boatload?
It's more possible than ever. We have podcasts, you have blogs, you have Google Hangouts, you have YouTube, you have wonderful people like you doing great TV shows. It's more possible than ever to be a featured expert or to have your own show, and also to use, which I really love as a resource, your local cable network has free access that you can do your own show. I have a business consultant doing that. I have a health coach doing that. All kinds of businesses can be featured in your local community completely free on your local Comcast or cable network.
Why do you think people don't do that enough, right? Because we see a lot of businesses that they stick only to either networking or they do one tool in social media and they don't never get that traction that they need, right? What do you think that is?
Well, I think you have to have a mix of marketing strategies. I wish I could say you push one silver bullet
Yeah, me
button.
too.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yep.
And the truth is you need multiple marketing strategies. Publicity is a primary marketing strategy which creates more visibility, more credibility. It's free. Then you become known as the expert in your field, the trusted source, and that's what's important. And sometimes I think people don't do certain things. Well, laziness. Sometimes lack of knowledge. I think it's about lack of knowledge and how powerful that just one of these strategies can be to make a huge difference in your business.
And do you think any type of business can get publicity? Because of course, if I'm an artist, if I'm a singer, if I'm a coach, if I'm a speaker, I know I can do that and go to TV. But can a retail shop benefit from publicity? Is that even possible? Are there some businesses that should not try any traditional publicity? What do you think?
I think if you're living and breathing, you better be doing publicity. In fact, in my recent publicity course in San Diego, I had a woman who owned a brick and mortar shop and she featured projects from women all around the world. And we did a great story about entrepreneurship, about supporting women in local crafts and local villages. And I absolutely think every business is primed for publicity. The important part is finding the right message. So have the right message, and frankly, publicity has to be part of your marketing strategy and foundation.
Now, publicity relies a lot on a good story. Do we all have a good story? Can you dig that out of people and businesses? What do you think?
Some people don't have a good story, and you got to switch it, right? I mean, I went out with a story when Mel Gibson, remember, he was such a bad boy for a while, and so I went out.
I hear he still is.
Yeah, he's always a bad boy, and that's why we love him. But the truth is that, so I went out with a story about what to do when your reputation suffers.
Yes, good point.
So, I went out with a story about his story. Sometimes you can comment on other people's story, and that's your story. So look at things that are happening in the media, see how your expertise can fit in. Also look at your own story. Have you dealt with something whether it be tragic, whether it be wonderful. Tragic tends to sell better, I hate to say it.
Yeah.
But, for instance, I like to use the months of the year. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Anytime any of my clients have dealt with that issue, I have them going out as an expert on breast cancer. Why? Because they had it. So I call it use everything you've got.
That's good. And how often should an entrepreneur go after publicity?
Well, I don't want you to go after it every day or even every week, because that's like boy who cried wolf syndrome. I want you to go out with a carefully crafted, smart story that matches the months of the year, like if you're a love coach, or I have a woman who coaches parents who got divorced and how to raise their children without killing each other. So we go out for Valentine's Day with a story about how to fall out of love, which is just important as how to fall in love, right? So that's a Valentine's Day story, Mother's Day stories, Father's Day stories, graduation stories. Instead of if you're in the States or Canada, Independence Day, I would make it, what would you like to be free from, right?
Nice.
So about freedom.
Same
Same thing October, instead of Halloween, let's talk about what are you afraid of? And I have a financial planner, and we went out with a story about, are you afraid of losing all your money? Or are you afraid of being broke? Because we found out that most people will be broke by the time they're 60.
Yes.
Okay, so that's something to be afraid
That's
of.
a big fear.
Yes,
Right,
great
yes.
Halloween story though.
Mhm.
See, so I would switch it and take a look at where can you make the months of the year relevant for what you're
Very
doing in your business.
That's fantastic, Joe. Now, can you give us some tips on how to approach the media?
Sure. Best thing to do, number one, have a great and powerful message. I feel like I'm Oz, but it really is true. You have to have a powerful message that works in multiple mediums, radio, TV, blog, social media. And the way to do that is to be consistent, persistent, concise, and precise with your message in soundbite form. And that way it translates across multiple mediums in simple, easy way. And 5-year-old language, please. You don't know,
Simple. Keep it simple.
Exactly, really simple. Like, don't use your big jargon or what you know and everything you've been trained, because frankly, you have to help the listeners, the readers, the viewers. So you want to keep it in really simple language. That's a real key.
Okay.
And have a great message.
Can you repeat the steps?
Yes, so first of all, have a great message. Number 2, take that message and solve people's problems, because experts who are being interviewed in the media are people who solve other people's problems or have a relevant story for that moment in the news and what's happening in the world. So, get on Google Alerts and have Google Alerts sent to you so that as things are happening in your area, yes, and then you can be the source. Look at that. People who are interviewed are called source, right? I want you to be the source, you to be the expert who's actually being interviewed. And part of the way to do that is keep reaching out to the media. It's a numbers game to a certain extent. You have to keep pitching those balls and playing the numbers and keep in there, because the media, through that repetition, will go, she's your girl to talk about business. So that's what we want.
And you mentioned listeners and viewers. Can you develop a little bit about that? What are you really talking about? That
Sure.
you go after listeners, viewers, then you use another term.
When I was writing guerrilla publicity, I was privileged to talk to media like CNN and the Wall Street Journal and Fortune Small Business. People were really with big publications. And, I asked them, what do they love and what do they hate about publicity? Well, what they said, they didn't agree about much. But there were a few things they did agree about. One of them was to give the readers, the viewers, and the listeners, in other words, the media.
The viewers and the listeners.
That's it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the ones who are watching, listening, hearing your message, to give them 2 things, value and benefit. Value and benefit. So you've got to always key in your message to the other people listening. And the mistake most business owners make is they talk what I would call too much about them. Buy my product, use my service,
I'm
hire me.
fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, who cares? No
Yes,
offense.
yes, really.
So here's a big tip for shifting that. Use you language. Talk to you. And in your speaking, use you language.
It's all about them, not about you,
Exactly.
right? In the last few years, we saw many new sources of media coming out, right, with the internet. Is there one in particular that you love, that you always think, okay, this gives more results, or I just like that type of media more, or no, you're, okay, every media is media?
Media is media, and everything matters and everything counts. I've seen, Chicken Soup for the Soul. The gentleman who wrote that, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, they talk about how when they first started Chicken Soup for the Soul, they did every radio interview. They said they talked about being up at 3 in the morning,
Yes.
at 4 in the morning, and doing God knows whereville, USA. I mean, they go, we didn't even know these markets existed. We didn't even know these cities were on the map. And they did radio interview after radio interview after radio interview in their case, and now they have, sold 85 million books. Did publicity work? Yes. They also sold their company for a lot of money. And they credit publicity for their success. So I would tell you, I love all publicity. It's all good. Do I love TV? I love TV. And I love magazines and print, because what's nice is it's what I call leave behind. You put it on the desk, and doctor's office have them. You walk into others' offices. There are magazines. So one of my clients who was in Red Book magazine, on the first day that article came out, she sold 25,000 ebooks. Her ebooks, not even a real book.
Yes.
Her web stats went up by 65%. And then ongoingly through the month, she saw that constant repetition. So I like what I call leave behind, and
It
things
has a
people read.
longer lifetime.
Yes.
Yes.
And the truth is, every media, no matter what it is and how small or how big, you take it, you record it, you put it up on your website, you have a media room, and then guess what? Other media finds you, because let me just tell you, the media, they're incestuous. In other words, oh, you've been featured on your local radio, you must be good. All of a sudden your name travels, your reputation gets out. When they're doing a Google search, they're going to find your name. And I've had a lot of clients found through their internet presence, through their media room, through their blogs. Blogs are great. Through social media is great. All these are good. I treat them all equally. There's no stepchildren here.
Okay.
What's most important is that media really works. All kinds of media.
Give one piece of advice to our audience, if you could say that in a sentence or two, of what is the next step for a person that just woke up to publicity right now and said, why don't I get me some type of that, right? If that will improve my business. One piece of advice.
So I think the most important thing to do, and I know I rant on about message because it is so important,
Right.
is get clear on your message. So what problem do you solve in the marketplace? Stay focused on that. Find a statistic about how many people it affects and impacts, and then create solutions about what to do. You become now the trusted source. You become the recognized expert in your field, and that is your consistent message that you put out to the marketplace. It's not about your new store opening or your launch of your new website or your exciting new coaching program. It's about your message that will keep you long-term in people's minds, and really it's about driving recognizability, credibility, and visibility in the marketplace.
So if I have a core message that I put out, it doesn't matter that I don't have anything new happening in my business, right? Because really
That's
what's
right.
going to create connection is the story.
It's the ongoing message. It's not always about the new this or the new that. It's about the message underneath your business and how you help people. And remember, it's about them, not you. So that's a biggie too, is keep that in mind and speak in you language.
Joe, I have 100% assurance that a lot of people want to know more about you. So how they can get in touch with you?
Thank you. You go to publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift, because I want to share with you really usable publicity tips and strategies you can use immediately. So publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. And I'm going to give my phone number away because, hey, I like to talk. Why
not?
If they need help, please call me, and I'm happy to help you with your specific situation. And you can call 415-883-5455. I'm going to give you a publicity tip. Always repeat your website and phone number. So publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift, and call 415-883-5455.
Yes, if an expert is brave enough to give their phone, it's because they can answer any question and they are transparent. They have nothing to hide and they know what they are talking about. So take that into consideration because you don't see that very often. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
See you next time.